CM Punk has been fired by AEW. Welcome to this breaking news stream, podcast, all that stuff. I'm Umar Q for Real Take Wrestling, and we're going to be talking about the breaking news of the day, month, year, always. CM Punk fired by AEW. His AEW contract officially terminated by Tony Khan and All Elite Wrestling today. My goodness gracious, guys. This is shocking. Absolutely shocking. Um, o- in that we did not know or we did not think that something would happen this quickly. I did a video where I read through the statement and I gave my 2 cents on it. This stream, so go check that out. I just posted on the channel. This stream is more so to kind of discuss things with you guys, discuss the implications that this could have, not just on the pay-per-view that's tomorrow, but AEW as a whole. Like, Collision was a show built around CM Punk, and now he's gone. What is the future of this show? Is it going to be able to draw the ratings that Tony Khan, Warner Brothers Discovery expected it to? These are the questions we're now left with. Like, what's the future of that show? Who is going to be the flagship bearer for that show? Like, it is crazy. I can already see the chat filling up with a few of you guys. We got Data Mike, best news gotten all day. I know the Elite are partying today. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even think so. Like, genuinely, this has got to be a sad day for AEW. Like, because and I don't mean sad in that, like, oh my god, it's sad to see Punk go and because he's such a great guy. I mean sad in that, like, this is one of your biggest stars that your company has ever and maybe will ever have, and he's now gone. Like, this move, like, mind you, this from a business standpoint. From a business standpoint, right, with Collision, the merch, all this stuff, it hurts AEW. Like, that's just the gosh darn truth. It hurts AEW. And I don't mean that as a way to justify keeping him on at all. I mean that in the way CM Punk to WWE confirmed. That's a funny one. But I mean that in a way that, like, like, the company would financially and as far as the public goes probably would have been better off had he stayed. But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that in the company's biggest moment, on the biggest stage, Wembley Stadium, the largest crowd ever assembled, largest ticketed crowd ever assembled for a pro wrestling show, all the attention was on the drama that surrounded CM Punk. Much like All Out, last year, overshadowed completely a great pay-per-view, overshadowed completely by a post-show press conference that CM Punk gave. Absolutely bonkers news. This happening is, but we are not even 24 hours away from the show. I'm going to Collision tonight. What's Collision gonna look like without CM Punk? I mean, we knew he was gonna be suspended, but I don't think anyone expected the firing to come this quickly. Like, of course, AEW had an investigation. In fact, before I start talking, about the investigation and all that stuff, let me just quickly turn y'all's attention to this statement from AEW and Tony Khan. It reads as follows. Quote, statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause. That's the important word here, with cause. Effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative of AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened, I should say. I don't know why I said that. It's a very small text on my laptop. Convened with outside counsel before making an unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Second time they said that. Khan offered the following statement. Phil, CM Punk, played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. the termination of his AEW contracts, multiple, with cause, is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I'm making the decision in the best interest of many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and and at arenas, stadiums throughout the world. Okay. A lot to break down there, and that's what I'm gonna try to do. We got some comic nerd saying Collision is gonna be loud tonight. Oh my goodness, wild! they're gonna go insane. I'm low key scared they might riot. I mean, well, there's only like 4,000 people going, so but still, that's like enough. Oh god, this is nuts. Okay, let's talk about the statement real quick. From AEW president, CEO, and eternal overlord Tony Khan. Um, I mean, the thing that obviously, and I said this in my video earlier today or just now. The thing that stands out is that they mentioned with cause multiple times, and that is definitely on purpose. They are making it clear that they are not terminating him for a potential injury. They're not terminating him because of anything else that isn't with cause. They are terminating him with cause, with legal cause that protects AEW, that doesn't hold them liable in any way, that won't allow CM Punk to sue them. That is what that line with cause is trying to confirm there. The other thing that stands out here, and I think this is something that we kind of all speculated about. I'm not sure if it was ever reported. I hadn't heard about it before, but I think we all kind of assumed it, is that CM Punk apparently had two different AEW contracts. From the way that I'm reading this, and of course, if I am mistaken and it's been reported otherwise, please let me know. But the statement reads that AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements, plural. So that means CM Punk had a contract two contracts. One that was for his wrestling, and the other one that was apparently an employment agreement with him in AEW. Now, does that cover like the work that he was doing? Putting the show together, Collision together with Tony Khan potentially. Of course, I think there was talk when AEW started about the boys getting office jobs and things like that. And Tony Khan also mentions it again, the terminations of his AEW contracts, plural. So I think that kind of confirms that fact, or that idea, that speculation, whatever we want to call it. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We got Colton Gunn apparently in the chat saying, Tony accomplished two things. One, he got rid of the problem. Two, he doesn't give him the rest of his money that Punk wanted. I mean, I don't even think it's about the money. I think AEW would settle with Punk if he would just kind of go away. I think that they would definitely settle with him. But I think the most important thing was for them, I think, was they couldn't justify having him in the locker room anymore. That is from this statement, from everything that we've heard, that is what I'm getting. That is what I am interpreting all of this as. That Tony Khan, AEW's discipline committee, whoever they may be, they could no longer justify Punk being there because, again, I mentioned this before, I'll say it again. At the biggest wrestling show that AEW ever had, nobody was talking about, the wrestling. Nobody was talking about any of that. We were all talking about drama with CM Punk. And it's not what you want to have happen on the biggest wrestling show. That they were building this up as the biggest wrestling show of all time. It's not something you want to have happen. And this is not the first time. People I think have a lot of people have bad memories here. This isn't the first time he's been involved in a fight backstage. And from a lot of the reports that Wrestling Observer and PW Torch and Fightful and everyone basically except for Wrestle House, the way it was portrayed many times was that Punk was the aggressor. And I don't, and that's not me trying to call out Wrestle House. Like, of course, Wrestle House is known to get CM Punk's side of the things of the story, and they report it as people close to Punk. They don't report it as this is the truth. So like, I don't want Wrestle House to get any bad luck or bad juju or anything like that. Like Nick Hausman does amazing reporting, and he's got sources that are close to Punk. Like so, he has to report them. And it's good to get that perspective. So you just want to make that clear before anyone starts to throw any shade at them. You got some comic book nerd in the chat saying, "Don't get me wrong, he deserved to be fired, but this is definitely a big loss for AEW star power for sure." And I said this earlier, like the Elite are not happy about. They cannot be happy about this. Like, is there some part of them that's kind of like, "Oh my god, thank God, like we don't have to deal with it anymore, or we don't have like this albatross isn't hanging over our head or whatever." Maybe, but we got to remember, like these people aren't just selfish, like people. Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, they care about AEW. AEW is not like the company doesn't start without them. They are AEW. So to see AEW lose a big star for whatever reason it may be, it's a sad thing. And I imagine that people who have put as much time, effort, and resources as those three have, they feel bad. Even Cody Rhodes, who wasn't in AEW at the time, when the media scrum thing happened last year at All Out, even Cody Rhodes said that it makes him sad. And why did it make him sad? It's not that he was friends with Punk. It's not that he was whatever about his allegiances. He was sad because it put the company in a bad light. A company that he helped found, a company that he helped build, a company where he put in a lot of time and resources. So I don't believe that the Elite are, like celebrating. They're going to be. Will there be nods to this in the future? Probably. I think like whenever the legal stuff dies down on this, because like I fully expect there to be some sort of claim on Punk's side, and he would be it's in his best interest to see where that leads as well. So like you can't blame the guy in that respect, but at the same time, it is what it is. This is again. I'm sorry. My thoughts are not that coherent or as coherent as they usually are. I was literally. Guys, I did a payback like pre-show, like to just like on this channel just before this news broke, and like literally, I get off, I leave, and I was about to go get food. I hadn't eaten all day. I was gonna go get food, and then I saw this news, and I ran back to my hotel to talk about this. And then like right after this, I'm gonna have to run over to the United Center for Collision. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of running. A lot of running around in Chicago. I'm getting my steps in today. Yeah. I mean, as far as like the future though, I mean, this is something we're definitely gonna be talking about like for for a long, long time to come now. But like, what is the future of not only AEW? Like, what's the future of like WWE? Like, does Punk bite the bullet and go back to WWE? Remember, he went back, or he was backstage at a WWE Raw in Chicago a few months ago before his AEW return. He just walked in backstage, and he started like talking to people. And he apparently wanted to talk to Triple H and Vince apparently, but he was told that probably isn't a good idea right now, and he was told to leave. And again, he didn't go there from what is reported, and we didn't go there to get a contract or anything. He just went there to say hi. But one thing that CM Punk is, as he would probably even tell you, is he holds a grudge. And I think right now, at this moment, it's fair to say that he's probably a little more mad at AEW than he would be at WWE. So, assuming that, I don't know how much time he had left on his contract. Maybe it was a year. Usually AEW does those 3-year deals. I don't know if time was added on for injury or whatever, but we'll see. We'll find out soon enough. But whenever his AEW deal is up, whenever he's free to sign with WWE, I think there's going to be discussions, but it's going to be definitely more of a WWE decision than a CM Punk decision. Because remember, when Punk came to AEW the first time, right, or when he came to AEW originally, that was like, hey, AEW being like, hey, here's our offer. Do you want to come? And CM Punk having to decide whether or not he wanted to come back. This time around, and again, this is if Punk like wanted to go back, I think he would have to be the one to kind of like put the feelers out first rather than the other way around. Because if you're WWE and you just saw the way this played out um you saw the way this played out in AEW, you're looking at it like, do I maybe want this guy? Do I want this guy backstage? Like you're Triple H, like, is this good for my? It'll be good for ratings. And AEW, and here's the thing: WWE is a content creator. They are not a professional wrestling company. They are a content creator. They need to create content that people are gonna watch. People will watch CM Punk. Now, whether it's maybe him doing like a backstage thing, like the WWE backstage thing or whatever, maybe. But I don't know. Like, could you have him backstage and then I think WWE would probably do a better job of controlling that situation than AEW did. Excuse me. But at the same time, do you want to risk it if you're WWE? Like at that point, like you have all these stars. Do you need CM Punk? Right. That's the eternal question for them. And that's a Triple H thing that he's gonna have to answer if the time ever comes there. You cheese in the chat says, "What a week! The wrestling world is really evolving. Sad guys like Punk fail to adapt." I think failing to adapt is actually like a good way to put it because again, I'm not gonna put all of this I'm not gonna put everything that's happened right on just solely on CM Punk, right? Were there others who made potentially mistakes? Yes, sure. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, I will say probably shouldn't have said that line. However, it never should have gotten to the point where those two were fighting backstage. It never should have, and that's on everyone. That's on everyone. It's on whoever aggressed the situation, which we're hearing mixed reports about, but a lot of them do indicate Punk. Um, it's on the company for not handling the situation beforehand. And if any good comes out of this, right? If any good really comes out of this, I think AEW management, everyone, not just Tony Khan, but AEW management needs to like nip these things in the bud way before they happen. And I'm not talking about making them go away, acting like they don't exist. I'm talking about dealing with them. Like, hey, we got to be professional. And if you don't like X, Y, or Z, that's fine. That's great. There are a lot of people that everyone works with that they don't. I've worked at many jobs where I don't like some of my coworkers. It happens. It happens. But you're not fighting them. You're not actively looking to aggress situations with them. And if you are, HR is going to get involved. There's going to be people involved. You're going to have a conversation about it. That's how the world works. And to be stuck in a mindset, in an old school Undertaker ass mindset, where it's like, oh, back when men were men, all that crap. Back when, oh, you want to take this outside? We've been hearing that a lot lately. You want to take this outside? You got a problem with it? You gonna take this out, bro? You're grown ass adults. Start acting like it. I don't care about professional. It's professional wrestling. I don't care. You're grown ass men. Deal with it. Talk. Communicate. And if you still can't get along, be professional. Because a lot of people in the real world, quote unquote, who had done half the things that some of these guys had, wouldn't have jobs. Like that's something that's lost on me. Like we hold them to a weird standard. In some ways, we hold wrestlers and celebrities to a very high standard, and in some ways, we put them on a very 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 low standard. Because if I got into a fight, a physical fight with someone at one of my or at a job that I've ever had, no question I'd be fired. If you did, you watching this, got into an argument or, sorry, a fight, a physical fight with someone you worked with, you'd be fired. There's no question about it. Can't say the same about pro wrestling for whatever reason. And sure, are there exceptions? Maybe. But at the same time, I think it's just a reminder. We just got to hold people to a standard. Comic book nerd in the chat says, "I wonder if Punk will be addressed on Collision tonight, or if they'll ignore it." I think they're going to ignore it. I think that you are going to get nothing, no mention of Punk on Collision at all, for legal reasons. Because I think, like, if AEW says anything that even indicates or implicates Punk in a bad light, that's going to give him some sort of cause potentially in any legal action that may or may not take place after this. So I don't expect that. I think Tony Khan will definitely no comment the hell out of it tomorrow in the post-show press conference. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts, guys. CM Punk debuted 2 years ago, right around this time, same building I'm going to tonight, United Center in Chicago. And there was such a fervor. There was a buzz. There was this electric energy behind not just Punk, but that entire moment. Whether or not you were in the building, you were watching at home, it was special. It's one of the greatest professional wrestling segments ever produced. And to see the way each year, like, how much it's just devolved and broken down more and more each year. Like, looking back at that, it's astounding. It's absolutely astounding. It's so nuts. Professional wrestling is absolutely nuts when you think about it. Some comic nerd, I'm sorry, I read your name wrong earlier. Some comic nerd says, if I was TK tomorrow, I would just not have a post-show press conference if possible. He has. I mean, I think a lot of the media is there already, and they have those passes. I mean, of course, it's his decision whether or not to, but I think they're going to. I think, like, for AEW, like, it's a mainstay. For them, it's like, it's also a way for them to highlight their talent, which, like, it gets lost in this. Like, a lot of the times we focus on AEW, Tony Khan, and all that, but the post-show press conferences and media scrums are also a way for AEW to highlight talent. Like, the winners of tonight. Here are the winners. Here's their personality. Here's them answering questions that are not just in kayfabe, getting that extra layer, making you care about them. Like, I think, like, that's something for me that I really like about these press conferences. So yeah, like, that's cool. We got WrestleBomb. What's up, Kenny? Good friend of the show, WrestleBomb, in the chat saying good riddance. Guys, if you haven't already done so, go subscribe to WrestleBomb on YouTube. He's putting out some great content. Yeah, go subscribe to him. Hope to have you on the show at some point. We got to make that happen. Actually, DM me on Twitter. We'll see what the schedules look like, because there's a few opportunities that are gonna happen over the next few days. But yeah, crazy. What else? I'm trying to think. Like, there's so much. I mean, the Real World Championship is done. I saw that Yachiz asked that earlier. Like, that's just done. I mean, it was as it was honestly as real as as it is now. Like, before, it was just CM Punk saying, like, I never lost the belt. That's crazy. We got Job in the chat saying, well, I guess MJF won't be giving up that title anytime soon, and for sure Tony will now re-sign him. I don't think that. This is 100% opinion. I have no knowledge of the situation. I am of the opinion that MJF has already re-signed. I am of the opinion that he has already re-signed, that when he returned, he had signed an extension. The bidding war of 2024 is a thing that he's been doing for years, and I think that it makes sense for them to lean into that as a story, and for there to be a race by the end of the year who is going to be the one to defeat MJF. That's the story that you should tell. And but I don't think Punk's departure even really. I don't think it impacts whether or not MJF's going to be champion or how long he's going to be champion. Like Punk, because Punk was never winning it. Punk was never going to beat MJF for the belt. Like, come on, no. Like the real thing there was just a feud. There was going to be a feud, and I think it would have been cool if they were able to do CM Punk versus MJF in Chicago to unify the titles, but for many reasons that just didn't happen. We'll see. Your cheese in the chat says Chicago will align with AEW or CM Punk in your opinion. I mean, Chicago is a wrestling town. At the end of the day, even the biggest Punk stands are going to go to the shows if they want to see good wrestling. Like, are there going to be like a handful of very loud people on Twitter who are going to I will never go to an AEW pay-per-view? Sure. But at the same time, like, people are going to show. Like, Chicago's a big town. It's a wrestling town. I think Chicago might be the best wrestling town in North America. Or, sorry, in the United States, I should say. Because it draws every time. Unless you run it like 8 times in a week, like AEW does sometimes. Wasn't real as Punk thought. Yeah. MJF is his biggest. I think MJF, Kenny Omega, Britt Baker definitely, and yeah, those are like the 3 biggest ones that I can think of. Like I mean, the Young Bucks obviously, and FTR. Like, those are your biggest stars for your AEW. Those are the people that, and John Moxley. How could I? Bryan Danielson's injured too. Like, here's the thing. One thing that I think we can fully expect, whenever the chips are down, no matter what happens, AEW has one person they can 100% turn to. That is their ace, John Moxley. He proved it last year, putting the entire company on his back in the wake of AEW's like 4 biggest stars getting suspended, and Jericho as well. So like you do have the depth as far as star power goes. You do lose a lot of star power with Punk, but the way Moxley put the company on his back last year, it makes me really believe that he will be able to help them get over this hump. He will. And now you have MJF in the position that he's in now. It's even better. And in some ways, at least with Collision, this might open up doors to do more stuff, more interesting stuff on Collision, or different stuff on Collision. Having Kenny Omega on Saturday Night Collision, having Hangman Adam Page on Collision is possible now. Having Ryan Nemeth too on Collision is possible now. And Sting as well. Like, you have names. It's a matter of how you use them. There could be a stipulation in his contract where CM Punk would win. I do not think that is a real I don't believe that they would do that. She says, thanks for the constant wrestling world update. I mean, yeah, I'm really hungry, guys. Like, I cannot even like tell y'all how hungry I am. I need to get off this stream and this podcast. By the way, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I need to get off this. Go eat something before AEW Collision tonight, which I will be at. This AEW All Out vlog is about to be wild. This is about to be wild. I had so much stuff planned. This is crazy. All right. Last few questions here, guys. Job in the chat says, where do you think Phil is going to land? The snarky asshole in me wants to say on his couch in Chicago. I mean, he's gonna be at home for the next little bit. I think we can expect. I assume that if he's being released, he does have a no compete. Job says, "Is Collision live?" It better be. I bought tickets for tonight. It better be. We got your cheese says the hype for this vlog is real. Look, this is going to be the first, this is technically the second vlog that I've done. This is gonna be the first one where I've actually tried to vlog, guys. I am not good at this. I wanna preface it. It's probably gonna be a shit vlog. Uh, I'm going to do my best though. I will do my best, and hopefully it's at least entertaining to the die-hard real takers out there. Love y'all. Um. Anyway, where's Punk landing though? As long as he has a non-compete, I assume his non-compete is gonna run for as long as his contract would have ran. Which again, AEW tends to do 3-year deals, but I don't know if there was a restructure with Punk when he came back, or whether or not they added time that he was gone and injured back. So we'll see. But I said this before, I'll say it again. I think that if Punk does want to wrestle, then I think it's a matter of him reaching out to WWE and then WWE making that decision rather than WWE reaching out to Punk and him making that decision. Just given everything that's happened over the past few months. WrestleBomb in the chat says, "You think Edge shows up soon?" So I think Dave Meltzer, I believe, of Wrestling Observer Newsletter, reported, or someone at Wrestling Observer Newsletter recently reported that people within WWE expect Edge to go to AEW. The way that I understand it, and I could be wrong, do not quote this this is not news. This is just whatever is floating around in my head. But the way I understand it is that I think that Edge's WWE contract runs through September, meaning like he still has technically time on his contract. But if that is wrong, and I'm Tony Khan, and need some money, it might have just come into your pocket with this big London show. No better way to spend it than investing in your company by bringing in Adam Copeland. And he would probably be called Edge he would probably be called Edge, or he won't be called Edge. Excuse me, I'm really hungry, guys. He wouldn't be called Edge in AEW. He would definitely be called Adam Copeland or something, or Adam Edge maybe. But yeah, it would be a monstrous move. Monstrous move. Some comic nerd in the chat says CM Punk will always say stuff like, quote, "I'm never, ever, ever returning to wrestling," and I now think that's true. It could be true this time, because he's definitely burned a bridge, at least for the next foreseeable future with the AEW, it would seem. Job in the chat says, "You lucky dog, boo for me if they start a Punk chant." Oh, I'm gonna start the elite. In fact, I might wear my elite. I was planning on wearing my elite shirt. Actually, should I wear my elite shirt tonight? Nah. I'll save that for tomorrow. I'll wear I don't know. I might wear my MJF shirt or something. Or if they have another elite shirt, I might buy that at the stand. Just because I'm an absolute troll. If they have CM Punk merch, it's gonna be hilarious too. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Bon appetit, man. You deserve it. Bum 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 bum. You deserve it. I will definitely deserve these Nando's peri peri wings. We got your cheese in the chat saying SRS just announced. Sean Ross Sapp just announced that maybe the Elite will be at Collision. That would be cool. I have not seen. I know that Sean put out. I haven't even checked Sean's. By the way, big shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful Select, for all the reporting they've done on this situation in the past week. Big shout out to PW Torch as well. Big shout out to Russell House. Big shout out to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter. All of those people have done great reporting on this. Shout out to all of them for allowing people like me, who are clueless, have no insight, to just talk about this. I really, really, really appreciate y'all. But that's being a fan. All right. Well, wear a Punk shirt with an next. That would be hilarious. Oh, if only I brought my I have the CM Punk's old shirt, his WWE shirt. I don't have his AEW shirt, but it's crazy. Last chat here. Some comic nerd says I saw online apparently Edge's contract ends in late September, so don't quote me on that. Yeah, that's my understanding about that situation as well. But all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go eat and go watch AEW Collision in person there. Fun times, guys. I appreciate everyone who showed out on the stream. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate everyone who listened on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Be sure to leave a 5-star review if you haven't already. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, I'm Rick Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.